right. Well, thanks, folks. We're going to get started in a second, and welcome to our session. This is our session is how the Texas Rangers transform data for championship-winning insights. If you haven't noticed at the show, the most famous people in data are right here among us, the Texas Rangers team, and that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm Matt Turner. I'm the Director of Product Marketing at Prophecy, and if you didn't know Prophecy, we're the data transformation co-pilot. We're here to help make everyone more productive and help you get all the data you've invested in, get it over to the AI and the smart people that need access to it so they can use clean, trusted, timely data and really get some value out of it. And so we're attacking the data transformation bottleneck with all of our tools, including AI. So today, as I mentioned, we're here to talk about baseball. And I just want to say a couple things before we get started. First of all, there will be baseball puns in this. So, we're going to step right up. They've already hit it out of the park, but we also are going to take it just one day at a time up here, but there will be baseball puns, but we're going to make up for it because some of you will have a chance to get a very, very special baseball. You may have noticed that I put them to work. So we not only have these two guys, but we have Chris over here who built the stadium. What was it, a $1.2 billion stadium?
$1.3 billion.
$1.3 billion stadium. So if you want to actually have these balls authenticated, that is an option because they really are signed. You saw it right here. So there'll be a chance for you guys to get that if you put up with all of our baseball puns and our technology. But so let's get into it. So guys, this is a little, why don't you come over? We'll make it work. So welcome to the stage. By the way, this is silent disco, but you can clap for the World Series guys. So welcome, Alexander. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Cool. So guys, we can't move it. So guys, how does it feel to be a data rock star?
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. And I just want to make sure that we did not win the World Series on the field. That, of course, all credit must go to the players and the coaches. But I do like to think that our data strategy that we've been pushing for the last few years did culminate in that well-oiled machine of communication, AI, innovation, that led to that disruption for that World Series.
Yeah. But I gotta say, there's nothing quite like, I never imagined in my life that I could say that I'm the reigning world champion data engineer.
Yeah. That's right, that's right.
That just wasn't a sentence that I thought.
So when we were prepping, you guys don't know this, we were on the phone and I said, and I'll ask you, did you get a ring? Well, it turns out, come on, you gotta show the bling.
We got our bling. Not as big as the Ranger, as the players' bling, but.
Data rock stars with bling. You're here to see it. But and you guys do deserve the credit. You did a lot of jobs. So more seriously, let's do a little bit of introductions. So Alexander Booth.
Yep. Hi, my name's Alexander Booth. I'm the Assistant Director of Research and Development for the Texas Rangers. Been with the club since 2018, so this is my 7th season. We do measure things in seasons as opposed to years in sports. And then I currently work as the data architect for our big data platform. I led a lot of our migrations from our legacy on-prem systems and legacy cloud warehouses, our disparate data pipelines, to kind of a single source of truth built on the Lakehouse and our cloud providers.
Awesome.
Yep, my name is Oliver Dykstra. This is my 2nd season with the Rangers. I do whatever he tells me to do, which is leading our migration and orchestration, building up our data pipelines, and preparing those for analytics and machine learning.
Oliver has also currently won a World Series in every single one of his seasons with us.
That's true. 100% record for World Series is right now. So.
And we've done a presentation every time. It's amazing. It's no coincidence. So in case people hadn't missed it, and I know you've been telling the story all week, but let's talk a little bit about what's going on with data in baseball. People have seen Moneyball, I hope. Who's seen Moneyball? I hope every single, every single person. But it's come a long way. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on in data.
Yeah, definitely. But data has always had a place in baseball, whether it's on the back of your baseball cards, looking and comparing statistics. This guy's better than this guy, or Moneyball with Billy Bean and Jonah. I was going to say Jonah Heim. Jonah Hill.
The guy he played. The poor guy.
Jonah Heim is a baseball player for the Rangers. So sorry I got that mixed up. But yeah, data has come a long way in the last 20 years. We're no longer just using these counting statistics. We actually have a lot of observed tracking information that you now see widespread across all sports. So we have a dozen plus cameras at our stadium, as well as radar technology. Our stadium has been mapped with LiDAR. So we're getting positions of our players at 30 frames a second. We're getting the ball at 30 frames a second. We're doing
300 frames.
300. We're doing pose tracking and bat tracking at 300 frames a second. So all this high frame rate data, this amount of video and tracking information that we have has led to a lot of new KPIs in baseball. Further, the rise of artificial intelligence and machine learning has changed the way that we evaluate players. Again, you would say, oh, Adolis Garcia has hit a whole bunch of home runs. He's a great baseball player. He is a good baseball player. But that's no longer what we're looking at to evaluate player performance. What we now look at is something called expectation, expected performance, expected talent. Again, you see this with your own eyes watching the game. Adolis Garcia, it's a great fly ball all the way out to the track. But I don't know, who's a center fielder? Corbin Carroll, some random guy jumps over the fence, grabs it, and it's an out. So Adolis Garcia gets penalized for that. That's not a home run. He hit into an out. But expectation, 9 out of 10 times, that ball's a home run, right? So he should be given that additional credit. Further, we play in Texas, surprise, surprise, and we play with a stadium, brand new $1.3 billion stadium that has a retractable roof. So with that roof, that means there's no weather effects. So this is another big data source that we got last year. We're tracking the wind, we're tracking the temperature, the humidity, the pressure. All of this affects how the ball flies. In Colorado, Mile High Stadium, less pressure, ball flies further. When it's hotter, the ball flies further. Our old stadium, the longest home run ever tracked in baseball was hit at our old stadium because it was 1,000,000 degrees that day and the winds are blowing, it was wild. But anyway, if I take that player, I want to know how are they expected to perform 81 games out of the season in a retractable roof with no weather. So how can we try and use AI to help us identify those patterns, make those predictions, and make smarter decisions in that player acquisition, as well as player development?
And the extra challenge these days is it is different at every stadium, but it's also different at different competition levels. So we don't just work in the major leagues, right? I mean, we have a lot of drafting. The drafting is coming up soon. And so we look at every level of baseball, and the tracking systems are different at each of these. Like we have super high quality, high tuned at the pro level, but the quality starts to deteriorate as you move down into lower leagues. And so we're collecting data from minor leagues, from colleges, and these days we even have tracking data from high schools. And people are getting serious, and you'll have parent entered metrics from little league games and things like that they're tracking, you know? Yeah, some of you are probably doing that. That's a real thing.
Yeah,
We need to find some sort of equalization among those different statistics in order to figure out how a minor league player will play in the big leagues, because it's a world of difference.
And before, I got one last additional thing here too to keep in mind. Baseball is an international sport. Some of the best players in Major League Baseball today have come from Japan last year. And so we're evaluating those players. We have international representation of the World Baseball Classic. We're trying to find that next international superstar who will perform great at the major league level. And again, we need AI to help normalize those patterns. We need to understand the data, the systems that these international teams are using. And again, try to figure out the likelihood of success at our sport.
So I'd like to today, if you want more about this massive data, they'll be recording these guys talking today, though. It's great because you had the player selection, player performance, and game performance. And that's just such a good way to bucket this. So it sounds like everybody has the data they need, right? You guys are on Easy Street, right?
Yeah, we're not originally. There used to be so many fragmented silos in our department. We talked a little bit about the amateur side. That's their own sub-vertical within baseball operation front offices. You have the minor leagues, our player development, who's working on making our draft picks, our prospects, the best possible players they can be. International, we have a whole team vertical devoted to international players. Pro, advanced. We're playing the Dodgers tonight. Don't look up the score from last night, but maybe we want to win tonight. So how do we optimize our best lineup, our pitchers, to try and get that? We call that advanced scouting. And that's another silo. So what we wanted to do was make sure that we had collaboration across this. The KPIs, the models that we're building at the amateur level may also affect our player development, right? We want a consistent way of understanding how to improve pitches. Same thing at the advanced level. If I'm monitoring the weather to help this, AAA has the exact same systems. They have the exact same weather effects. Maybe we should try to be optimizing our AAA guys to win their games too. So we had a real struggle with collaboration across these.
So I heard you guys talk about the time before Oliver was there.
Yeah.
Dark times.
Dark times.
That wasn't scripted.
So, thank you very much. So spreadsheets, lots of systems.
Yeah,
one guy trying to make data science.
We had,
A lot of work on local computers, things like that. There's GitHub was a thing of the past.
All right. So how did you
think of the future?
A lot of Google Sheets floating around, duplicative data.
We're gonna start giving people PSDT. So, but that's the situation. So how did you go about solving that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're trying to really move and democratize our system up onto the cloud. So we're really investing, obviously, in the Lakehouse. I mean, we're all here at the Databricks.
I was going to say, make sure you say Databricks.
By the way, we use Databricks a little bit, just a lot of it, actually. But by trying to give people what they needed to do their job, how they wanted to do it. So we call this like pushing kind of the technology to the edge. If you wanted to write R, you wanted to write Spark, great. We want to let you do that. Do you only want to write SQL? Great, do it. But do it in a consistent environment where we can track the products as well as make sure we can support you in that further collaboration, integrating it into GitHub, etc. This is also why we turned to partner solutions. We couldn't do this migration alone. We couldn't get this adoption widespread across our team alone. So we really wanted to help with both empowering our analysts to create more productionalized data products as well as ML-driven applications.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big organization. Baseball organizations are very big, but our tech teams are usually pretty small, right? I'm one of 3 data engineers, and one of those people was just hired recently, and one of those is an analytics engineer. So they get pulled in a lot of different directions between the analysts and the work that on the engineering side. So we need tools to help us move faster.
So now it's time to get specific. Now it's time to get specific.
Yeah.
So how did Prophecy help you guys out?
Yeah. So
and what were you trying to do, and then what impact has it had?
Yeah, exactly. So our problem, I think we all kind of have the same problems here. We have dozens and dozens of data vendors. In baseball, we had an explosion since 2021. Random new tracking companies, random new AI companies trying to sell us their stuff. And so we had a lot of these new vendors that we were signing up, but didn't know how to ingest into our lakehouse, and then use that for actual insights. Again, like we could sign up all the vendors we wanted, but if the data is not getting into a report that the players and coaches need to help make them better, then like what's the point, right? So it's all well and good to sign those contracts, but Oliver, 40 hours a week, it's a little bit more than that, but we'll say 40 hours a week, like he can only do so much work. Me, I have I'm giving so many keynotes, but I don't have enough time to do anything either. So how can we optimize the time of our engineers, but then of course also the analysts? At the end of the day, the analysts are the ones creating those leaderboards, creating those data products that are connecting to business intelligence. So they should be able to make productionalized products. What ended up happening is that they were making things that needed to be rewritten, refactored. There was no standardized way of creating those gold level data products that was sustainable. So Prophecy really allowed us to democratize that. We have multiple analysts now able to use low code, generative AI tools with Copilot to help create that final mile, whatever the cliche term is.
The
last mile. I think last mile data product or whatever. So we both have the technical guys like Oliver here using Prophecy to help make that low code Spark quicker. But then also the analysts are able to do it without even knowing Spark to create a standardized, strong controlled system that can be debugged, managed, and evaluated. And since it all lives in our cloud and our GitHub, we can see the underlying code, the underlying pipelines, and that transparency increases our trust. And that's something that's important to us as we continue to utilize open source and open-esque products that do value transparency as well.
So one of the things that we had talked about was some of the collaboration, because you can see the visual and people can pick it up. I don't know if you want to expand a little bit on that part of the story, because I think it's not just going faster, it's actually helping everybody work together.
Yeah, exactly. So understanding that, this gem represents this transformation, this gem represents this merge aspect. It's a visual aid. Again, we're visual people. I think like it's a skill to read code quickly and understand what's going on. Like I can't. It takes forever. Like it better be well commented. So just having visual aids to this really improves that collaboration. And what we see is that people see, oh my gosh, the amateur team is doing this join at the end, or they're using this prediction or connecting to this ML model. So maybe we can do that on our team as well. Again, just improving that transparency across teams.
Thank you guys so much. I told you, you have to have a big finish. So look, don't forget, Prophecy's Data Transformation Copilot. We're here with visual AI and compiler technology to make sure it all works. You guys really enunciated that well. This is about creating trusted code, but having everybody involved with the process and get the help they need. And we make everybody more productive. And please come by. We have one more to give here. We actually do have quite a few more amazingly signed baseballs. And if you come over to our booth and get a demo.
We're around to talk a little bit too. So.
And we'll be around to talk. And that's it. So I want to just, again, thank you guys very much. Alexander, Oliver, rock stars of the show. So give them a big round of applause.
Thanks everyone.